So good afternoon, friends. Good afternoon, Kolkata. So it's a privilege being here. Even before starting, let me tell you, I know that I am standing between you and your lunch, and one more cigarette, I am also hungry. So I will maintain my time. Don't worry on that. So my presentation is on sustainability. It's a new topic. Many of you may not have heard this, but I can tell you this is of prime importance to all of us. And there are two very important things which I will reserve till the end, because I want all of you to stay till the end. Now, so in this slide, you will see there are many terms: sustainability, green economy, circular economy, sustainable development, regenerative economy, environmentalism, EHS, ESG, circularity, and so many. If you are reading the newspaper or if you are watching the news channels, you will find every day, almost every day in the newspaper, there will be an article in one of those, and these terms are always mentioned in all those articles. So you must be thinking that, oh, it's a very difficult topic, so many terms, so many definitions, and then this person will definitely make us feel bored. It is not like that, because the situation is different. All these terms are actually same. They have the same meaning and same intention. The meaning and intention is how we channelize our effort to hand over the planet that we have got from our predecessors to our successors. Today we enjoy a planet which is a green planet, and tomorrow we have to ensure that our successors, our next generation, also enjoy this planet. So very briefly, how it all started: it was 1980s when the economists, till 1980s, the economists believed in only one value, that is the shareholders' value. 1980, first time, various values were coined, that is shareholders' value, investors' value, employees' value, social value, etc. So people started believing, well, the company cannot be run only for the shareholders, it is for all the stakeholders, because there are many stakeholders whom the company has to actually provide service. At that point of time, 1987, there was a Brundtland report, which is very, very important, and this is the mother of all sustainability, and since 1987 to 2002, nothing has changed too far, because this is the basics, this is the own pillars of truth, it will never going to change. In that commission, people agreed that there are 6 interconnected focus areas, and those were population and human resources, food security, well, we have to ensure that everyone gets food. Third, species and ecosystem, we have to see that all the species of the ecosystem actually exist. Okay. Fourth, energy, choice of energy. You are producing power from gas, you are producing power from coal, you are producing power from hydrogen. Well, the things are very, very different as per energy is concerned, as per emission is concerned. Industry, you know, the basic of sustainability is the basic of economics. How can you produce more with minimum? If you can do those, then you are actually utilizing your resources and optimizing your resources to produce maximum. That is what economics tells us, that is what sustainability tells us. And the last one is urban challenge. I mean, my earlier speaker Sridharji has spoke how people are moved from village to cities, how to meet this challenge. These are the 6 focus areas of sustainability. Till then, from 1987 till 2022, lot of water has flown to the Ganges, as they say, but these basic principles has always remained same. They have so many frameworks, SASB, CDP, GRI, but everything is focused on all these things. And now we have a new animal in the block, BRSR, an animal that you all welcome. I'll speak something about BRSR also towards the end. Next, let me tell you a story. I was speaking to one of the head or leader of a very famous, very popular framework in global framework, and I was speaking to the India head. She asked me, Raj, can you answer me one question which I don't know? During my lifetime, since last 20 years, I have been speaking of sustainability, and suddenly a new term has come up, that is ESG. What does ESG means, and why this new term is required in the first place? I said, madam, when you speak of sustainability, people only think of emission, people only think of air, water and energy. but sustainability is a much bigger term. It has actually three letters in that: environment, social, and governance. And this term is actually phrased by the analyst because they want everyone to understand. So there are three distinct verticals within ESG. One is environment, one is social and governance. That clarifies that. So that's why people use ESG, because it is understandable more than the word sustainability. So what is ESG? E stands for environment. How do we use water? Everyone knows. Are we recycling water? Are we discharging more water or less water than we are drawing? Okay, I will come details into that. That is one thing. Resource use and biodiversity. Well, you are the leadership of a corporate, you are setting up a plant in one of the areas, wetlands, and you are killing huge numbers of species. Is it good for the earth? Answer is no. So that is what you look at this environment. Waste generation, how much waste you are generating? Is it a e-waste? Is it a disposable waste? Are you treating the waste? Those answers will be answered here in the environment. Energy, we all know, we all speak, we know how much carbon dioxide we are emitting. Okay, so that is it. Social. You are a company, you are making profit, your products are fantastic, but how you are treating your employees? Are you treating your employees well? In the COVID time, have you taken care of them? Or you said, okay, fine, you go to a doctor, get it tested, go to hospital, I will reimburse you the amount. So that is not a good example. Many of the companies have done like that, but I can tell you that is not a great example of ESG at least. Supply chain management. Okay, you are a good company, you are producing well, you are making profit, you are taking care of employees. But what about others? I mean, in ecosystem, your vendors, your customers, are you taking care of a contractor's employees? I mean, you are employing thousands of employees, but you are employing more employees from contractors. Are you taking care of them? Or are you ensuring they are have a good lifestyle? If the answer is no, then well, you are not following ESG. Communities. You are setting up a plant in a local area. Are you taking care of people around? Are you taking care of diversity around? Are you taking care of the environment around? If you are not doing ESG. And customers. They are valued partners. Are you taking care of them? And last is governance. Governance means board governance, whether you have a ESG committee in the board, whether the individuals or heads of various departments report to them, whether they have a plan for your ESG emissions, etc., and then monitoring them. So that is good governance. So friends, if you have not heard about ESG, not understand ESG is very, very simple. There is no rocket science. E stands for environment, S stands for socials, and G stands for governance. And to what extent ESG can be simplified, I will tell after a few slides. Yeah. Now, why is ESG important? I know I'm addressing a house of chartered accountant, and I'm also one of the chartered accountant. I did another course from Stanford also. But why is at all ESG important? And trust me, I was the Chief Accounts Officer of Reliance Industry for a decade. I was instrumental in finalizing 500 entities quarter by quarter, almost 60 quarters I have done that individually as a head. So why I am speaking on ESG and why not accounts, why not? I'll tell you, for we CFOs, ESG is a big headache. Have you heard of Larry Fink? Larry Fink is the chairman of BlackRock, the largest fund in the whole world. And he writes a letter to all the CEOs. And it started from, I think, 2016, 2017, and every year writes one letter, and the letters have become from indirect to direct. It is very clear, if you are not following, if you are not doing ESG, if you are not taking seriously, I will not invest in you. So if funds not are coming to your organization, CFOs will have headache. I personally attend at least 2 calls with the investors or analyst community, and those calls are totally focused on ESG. What is Reliance target? Okay, you said 2035 will net zero. What are your milestones? How you are doing it? What you are doing for the employees? What you are doing for government? And so many questions. Okay, why you are not disclosing this? So it is tough time. Whenever a CFO goes and handles an investor relationship, and I have been doing it for last 10 years for Reliance now. Previously, ESG related question used to come at the end 1 or 2. Now 30 to 40% of the questions are on ESG. If you follow McKinsey has come up with a recent report that one of the top 10 boardroom themes is, one of them is ESG. So ESG is actually very important. Millennials and next generation are all focused on ESG. They don't see profit, they see a whole lot of things. Business reputation, well, your business reputation will get tarnished, so people are very, and I don't want to use, but I have to use the word greenwashing. I mean, that is very rampant now. People wants a good report, a good certificate, but what you need to do to achieve the report, to get the report, people are not too much interested. So, if we don't take off ESG, then what will happen? Well, these are the consequences. I stay in Mumbai, and I'm staying for last more than 15 years in Mumbai, and I can tell you, I understand in the next 30, 40 years, 30% or 25% of Mumbai will be under seawater, and lot many cities which is close to the sea, because yes, climate change. So society and economy, okay, we know refugees, we know war refugees, but very soon you will be hearing a term called climate refugees, because there are some countries which people will not be able to live. So what will the people do? They will shift to other countries, become refugees, climate refugees. Droughts and floods, okay, we are India, we are prone to droughts, we are prone to floods, we have seen it all. Well, this is very, very serious. Okay, well, climate change, if you are not taking ESG seriously, well, this is what will happen. Heat waves. I stay in Mumbai, the temperature in the morning is around 22 degrees at 5 a.m. in the morning. I normally wake up at 5 a.m. and go for my jog. It's around 22 to 23 degrees centigrade. We never put on a jacket, we never put on a sweater, we are not required to because of the heat waves. In Kolkata also this time I have not found that much cold. I brought a lot of things. I thought, Kolkata will be cold, but it is not like that. Across the globe, Europe, UK, unprecedented heat waves. You must have all read in the newspaper, unprecedented heat waves. UK, the houses are built in such a way that, that they are for certain degree of temperature. Now with rising temperature, people are facing it very difficult in staying in London. Okay, so heat waves will make life difficult for all of us. Now, devastating storms, India, we know, you must have heard about US, storms across the cities, destroying so many things. Erratic monsoon, who knows better than Indians? Food prices, well, if the climate change, if the crops growth is shunted, the demand is increasing because of population, and the cultivation is coming down to a certain extent, so food prices will touch rocket. And if you're a coffee lover, very bad news for you. Ethiopia, a top Arabic producer, might lose a significant portion of their coffee growing, at around 60% of their coffee growing land. So this is not good news. So this is, if we are not taking ESG seriously, this is what the consequence can happen, and lot of consequence we can see happening. It's actually moving. If you're not waking up, well, it's hard time for all of us. In fact, the world has woken up. ESG has been taken more seriously than in the past. You have COP26, COP27. Some of you who are thinking what is COP means? COP means Confederation of Parties, that all the countries, all the big leaders are coming together and they want to take an oath. And the hypocrisy of that in the COP27, so many private jets have flown, the emission that have created is itself huge. That is the other part of the story. Okay, I'll come to this slide later. Yeah. So, India and underdeveloped countries, normally developing countries alike, I mean, they are the roots of all the problems in the whole world, India and all the underdeveloping countries, developing countries, and West is like a saint. So, this slide tells that. See, you see the ranking. China, 10.67 billion tons of carbon emission. United States, 4.71. European Union means all the countries of Europe, 2.6. India, 2.44. So, if you see, as a country, India is third largest. Okay. So, India is the third largest emitter. So, that's bad. Yes, really, it's bad. So, India is one of the largest emitter of the whole world, and it is growing. But I will show you a different picture now. Sorry. Yeah. This is, sorry. Yeah. So, I will now move on to the next slide. Sorry. Some technology sometimes, it happens. Bear with me, please. Yeah. So, now this slide says per capita. Australia, 15.37 tons. It means in the total emission that Australia creates, if you divide it by the population, it is 15.37 tons. Okay. Per United States, 14.24 tons. South Africa, 7.92. China, 7.41. UK, 4.85. World average is 4.47, and India as 1.77, less than 2. What does it mean? It means India is doing fantastically well. We are not the creator of the problems, as opposed to the normal belief that India and developing countries. It is actually the West, the developing countries who are creating a problem. See Australia, 15.37 tons of emission per head. United States, 14.24. This is because of the luxuries they have. It is because the heat they need. It is because the ACs they run. It is because the vehicles and jets they fly. India is a simple country. Caesar sir was told that being an entrepreneur, he lives in villages. There's so many people who have lived in villages. They hardly have electricity. They hardly have things. So we are sent as compared to the West. But we have been shown that yes, your emission is third largest in the whole world. Yes, because I have 1.4 billion population, and that is out of total 8 billion population in the whole world. So it has to be big. Per capita, it is one of the lowest in the whole world, much lower than the world average. So whenever people say you that India is creating problem, India is not creating problem. It is the West they have created the problem. I'll give you one more story, interesting story. There's a man called Divas Gupta. If you Google him, you will find him. He's a IM graduate, and he has not worked in corporate because he felt corporate is not meant for him. He's a communication expert. He teaches people how to speak, okay, how to speak effectively, impactfully. Divas went with his wife to Europe, and while he was traveling in one place in France, one lady was introduced her, and then he asked him from where you are coming. He said, I came from India, I went to UK, I went to Norway, this, I'm traveling. He said, oh my God, what you're trying to do? You're creating so many problems, you know. You people from India come here in jets, and how much emission you create. And Divas told me, Raj, he has told me, and I said, I did not answer him. I said, Divas, you should have spoken to me before going, I would have given you all the answers. Tell him, madam, you have created all the problems. See, what is the target? Target is the temperature of the world should not rise. What is the target they have set? 1.5 degrees centigrade above the pre-industrial era. So there is a temperature of pre-industrial era. Now, over the years, it should not go beyond 1.5 degrees centigrade. Trust me, our understanding, what the experts are telling, it is already 1.3. So 1.5 degree target is, I think, it is not viable. They are telling 2, it may be 1.7, 1.8, that is a feasible target. Okay. Beyond 2, they are telling disaster will happen in the whole world. So we cannot afford to do it. Okay. So we are already very, very late. So to stop emission, what we need to do, and what India needs to do, and what India has done is actually very commendable. Okay. This is some of the things, India and world death. In United Kingdom, UK, per 1 lakh population, 0.16 death happens due to disasters, and it is understood that disasters are mostly due to climate change, and which is result in so many factors which is led by ESG. In Russia, it is 71.65. So 71.65 per 1 lakh. In India, it is only 0.48, and United States is 0.17. So you can see India is not very bad. Another index. If you see the adaptation and implemented policy, India is very good. I will show you the slide. India is great in adaptation of policies. And you see India is 1, UK is 1. India has come down from 2050, if you see, to 1 at least. United States actually has come down from 1 to 0.75. So that way we are not doing very badly. Okay, this is my last slide about India and the world, and then I'll move to BRSR, which is very, very important to all of us. And I think we chartered accountants should take up BRSR very seriously, because it is definitely something for our destiny for our future. So as per our COP26, Indian PM Sri Narendra Modi has announced the 5-fold strategy, okay, which is known as Panchamitra. India will get its non-fossil fuel capacity to 500 gigawatt 2030. It means renewable energy by 2030 of 500 gigawatt. Out of that, Reliance have committed 100 gigawatt. The other corporates also committed, but Reliance have committed 100 gigawatt. And it is we are going in the right direction, and study says that we will reach this milestone. India will meet 50% of energy requirements of renewable energy by 2030. So total energy requirements, 50% renewable energy, which is green energy, which does not create emission. Third, India will reduce its total projected carbon emission by 1 billion tons till 2030. By 2030, India will reduce the carbon intensity of economy by less than 45%. Yeah, the economy will also grow, so intensity has to come down, but on the numerator also will come down. And so by in 2070, India will have net zero. Net zero means India will stop emitting, whatever they emit, they will absorb or they will offset. So again, this is one more problem. You can see global frameworks, global ESG ratings, GRI, CDP, SASB, IR, GISR and so on. So one of the problems that we CFOs had is that which framework to follow. Okay, the analysts are telling if you don't do ESG, if you don't do the rating, you don't have to, then we will give you a bad rating. In fact, I can tell you even the rating agencies are now contemplating that called corporate rating, ESG will be a component. So if your ESG is not good, your rating will come down. So corporate has to take it very seriously. All CFOs and CEOs and a board takes it very seriously. But which one or two follow? Which of the framework to follow? Whether GRI, whether SASB, CDP, and everything has 70 to 80% commonality, but there are some difference also. But I think that problem's solution has come, because now our Indian regulator SEBI has come up with BRSR, so we can follow the BRSR, and if we follow the BRSR, then obviously we are compliant. And let me tell you one thing, BRSR is a very exhaustive framework. If you follow the BRSR, at least you are following 70 to 80% of GRI, which is one of the most popular framework in the whole world. So BRSR that India regulator has brought in is a very exhaustive framework. So if you follow the BRSR, then you are following actually 70 to 80%. And if BRSR has to gain importance, I feel we chartered accountants have to take it seriously. It is our future. I think chartered accountants will play a big role in actually implementation of BRSR. BRSR can be a very big revenue earner for the chartered accountants. But to earn revenue, to jump in the spree, we should have built capacity, we should in this field, and I think the institute has come up with BRSR course, it is there. I think I would request all of you to do the course, encourage your articles, encourage your partners, encourage your team members, all other chartered accountants do the course, because then that course will help you to build capacity, and I'm telling you BRSR will be a large money spinner in the years to come, and it will be definitely the future. We have to come out from our conventional ideas of account, direct tax and indirect tax and audit. BRSR is a next green field, and we should not miss. So time is short, so I will keep to time. So what I will do, I will speak of BRSR, but I will speak very briefly. So BRSR is not new. If you follow the corporates, you will find along with the annual report, there is another publication, another reporting that comes, which is called BRR, that is Business Responsibility Report. But BRR is more of qualitative, it is not of quantitative. So that why it's of less value. You have to narrate things, but you need not state numbers. So whenever we have to state numbers, we get very finicky. Narrating things is actually very easy. So that BRSR has been withdrawn for the first 1,000 entities by market capitalization with effect from the current year, 22-23. So in 22-23, you will find BRSR report being published, being reported by the top 1,000 entities, and voluntarily anyone can do it. Okay. So this is the history of BRSR, evolution of BRSR. It started from July 2011 to November 2019. I'll move on slide. So why BRSR matters? First of all, BRSR will be integrated with filings made by MCA portal, and business responsibility index will also be developed. So what will happen is, once you file it in the MCA portal to in XBRL form, so government will have all the data. And when I take you to BRSR, you can see the humongous amount of data is required. So government will all the data, government will cross-check everything, and government will slice and dice the data and have a lot of comparability. So that means, again, we have to take it very seriously. We just cannot file a BRSR. So it is based on 9 guiding principles, that is NG, RBC. It is same as BRR, 1 or 2 words are added, so I will not go into it. Okay. So now this is a very important slide. See, in the left hand column, BRR, there were 28 requirements. Okay. There were 28 requirements. In BRSR, the requirements is 112. So it has increased by 84. So if you see on percentage term, it is actually almost 300% of the requirement of BRR. So BRSR actually has three sections, section A, section B and section C, and there are 140 questions. Section A and section B is actually introductory, so it's not very important. Company, area, KMP's name, etc., etc., etc. Section C actually have 9 principles, so BRSR is all about 9 principles, and against each principle there are some of the questions you need to answer, and I explain you some of the principles, although I don't have time to explain all the 9 principles, but I can explain you few of the principles, and you can see the importance of that. Okay. So first, principle 1, I will take you principle 1, principle 2 and principle 6. So principle 1, business should conduct and govern themselves with integrity and in a manner that is ethical, transparent and accountable. Fine. So what are the various questions? Awareness, compliance and complaints. Okay. So whether you have enough training programs, or whether you are giving training programs to your employees, whether you are training programs to directors, whether you are giving training